Ultimate Team is by far FIFA's most popular game mode. It's been this way for years and has gradually built up from absolutely nothing. And in today's video, to celebrate this, we're going through every single Ultimate Team, highlighting the best thing from each. And we're starting all the way back to when it all began, FIFA 09. But with Ultimate Team, this one is slightly different because it wasn't actually a game mode which was part of the FIFA 09 release. FIFA 09 was released on the 2nd of October 2008. But Ultimate Team wasn't added until the 24th of April 2009 as extra DLC, which allowed players to buy into it. Now, as this was the first release, it was pretty bare boned, and once we compare it to all the features that we get nowadays, yes, it's lacking quite heavily. But a good thing about this was that it is the start of the franchise. This was where it all began, and if this DLC wasn't successful, there wouldn't be an Ultimate Team within our present day. FIFA 10. Similar to FIFA 09, FIFA 10 Ultimate Team had a very similar premise. It wasn't part of the initial release. It was added as part of an expansion later on the 25th of February 2010, costing about 400 Microsoft points or around £3.99 on PlayStation. Since 09, EA made a few slight changes by removing some gameplay features whilst adding a few more, but the thing that really stood out the most in this year was the cups and tournaments. Cups and tournaments were the original way in which you would play Ultimate Team online. There wasn't any divisions, there wasn't FUT draft, there wasn't FUT champions, there was next to nothing. You could play cups and tournaments either single player or online. But despite this being near the only way in which you could play FUT, I remember quite fondly being able to start playing from the moment this was released all the way to the end of Ultimate Team by FIFA 11. It may just be nostalgia taking over, but I remember coming home from school, being able to sit there and play against my friends, competing in tournaments against randoms whilst being on an Xbox live chat, and being able to do that daily, every single day up until FIFA 11. Had very fun moments after just playing 4 games in a row where you were able to win and then go on to earn next to no coins. But it was entertaining. FIFA 11. This is when things really started to get exciting within Ultimate Team, and it actually happened because of something outside of Ultimate Team. This was YouTube. This was really when people started to take Ultimate Team seriously, and because of that, they started to produce content on YouTube, posted it to the platform, which then of course brought in more people being interested into FIFA. But it also showcased how other people would play, bringing in Road to Glories, funny moments, compilations, and it's heavily influenced Ultimate Team, making it even more entertaining to play through, even though it was still a very limited game mode. The thing that stuck with me was playing with silver players within cups and tournaments. Silver players felt overpowered, they felt amazing at this point, unlike what we have with today's standards. FIFA 12. This was by far the peak conditions for trading. Now, of course, there's some amazing traders within the community now which are able to make hundreds of millions of coins every single year. I'm not saying that trading died after this, but with FIFA 12, it was a good time before everyone started to jump on with bots trying to buy up everything that's cheap on the market. It was before FIFA coin selling sites really started to take hold of the community. It was before price ranges were introduced, and on top of that, you still had trade offers. Trade offers would be where you would offer another player to buy the cards that they have listed onto the transfer market, but without buying them with coins, you would send over players that you currently have available within your club. This was taken out within FIFA 15, but during FIFA 12, with all of these things aligned that we've just previously mentioned, it's what made FIFA 12 amazing to trade on. FIFA 13. This was when EA started to take full advantage of Team of the Seasons, Team of the Years, inform cards between gold, silver and bronze. And even record breakers were starting to be introduced, although there was only one this year. Nothing seen before within any previous FIFA, but to a certain point, it also didn't matter because this was also the year in which Gervinho, Doumbia, Ibarbo and Marco Reus were heavily overused. Chances are if you came up to a team, it would include at least one of those players. These ended up being the most OP players within the game, and this also started a lot of people over on YouTube looking for hidden gems. These were the most overpowered players within the game, which ended up being extremely cheap. FIFA 14, big year. Not so much with content, but EA expanded on all of those additional special cards, adding more types of promos, but there was also one in which really stood out. This was Legends. Unfortunately, it was only available to those playing on Xbox. It was Xbox exclusive. For those on PlayStation, you still got to take advantage of the other types of special cards, as EA did increase the amount compared to what they added in FIFA 13. But unfortunately, you was always looking over to what Xbox had. FIFA 15. Ultimate Team within FIFA 15 was a tough one because of price ranges. Well, actually because of coin selling sites making coins illegitimately. They were using hacks and glitches and then selling them by undercutting their competition to eventually it costing just a couple quid for you to get hundreds of thousands of coins. This caused inflation within the market to eventually players like Messi and Ronaldo, their normal gold cards, being worth about 5 to 7 million coins. EA had to introduce price ranges which made players extinct. The good thing though is that this year was also the year in which EA introduced loan players, so you were able to play with some of these cards even though you weren't able to afford them. It wasn't quite the same. Of course, you would much rather be able to play with the normal gold card and actually own them. This was a way around it at the time. FIFA 16. This was the year where EA introduced FUT Draft, and it seemed like it was a way in which they would allow other players who didn't have many coins following the backlash of FIFA 15 with the price ranges, but with FIFA 16 and Draft they would allow players which didn't have many coins to have access to some of the best players in the game mode FUT Draft. FUT Draft hasn't changed at all since then. So whatever you're playing right now is exactly the same as what was available back in FIFA 16. And even though it's not the most popular game mode ever, it's still got a fan base behind it, with there being content where everyone tries to compete against each other to get the highest rated FUT Draft. FIFA 17. This was when things really started to pick up. The best thing within this year was FUT Champions and SBCs. You was able to be rewarded way more than any other previous year. Unfortunately, with FUT Champions, it was extremely competitive, whereas now you play 20 games across 4 days. With FUT Champions, when it was first added for the first couple of months, you was required to play 40 games within 48 hours. So there were still complaints with this, but it was extremely fun as well as competitive, and it was fun back then. It was sweaty, but because of the rewards you were getting, it felt like it was worth it. You didn't want to miss a single weekend. FIFA 18. The best thing this year was there was two major things. You had the World Cup mode, which has always been big. The World Cup mode wasn't first introduced in FIFA 18, it was actually back in FIFA 14. With FIFA 18, it felt like they took it to another level. They also made it available so that you was able to have icons. Icons were the exact same thing as Legends, but Legends, as said, they were part of the Xbox exclusive deal. That exclusive deal ended at this point, and then they made it available to PlayStation players as well, but they had to change the name to Icons. Icons were now available to Xbox and PlayStation, and it also meant once it came around to the World Cup mode that you was also able to get these icons within that game mode. Overall, it ended up being very fun. FIFA 19 was the introduction of division rivals. Before this, players would have to go through seasons, which would allow you to go through divisions from Division 10 all the way up to Division 1. But how it was laid out was based on how many games you were gifted to actually play and how many points you were able to get from them. If you didn't get enough points, you would be relegated. If you managed to get enough points, you would either stay, and if you got way more than enough, you would be promoted, unless you was in Division 1, which just meant that you would get the maximum coin reward. Within FIFA 19, they changed this to be a point system. So with every game that you play, it wasn't the traditional point system. It wasn't 3 points for a win, 1 point for a draw, absolutely nothing for a loss. It now went into the thousands, and the more points you got, the higher the division. There was more fluidity throughout game time, and it was certainly more entertaining in a way to play. It also linked into FUT Champions. Before this, for you to qualify for FUT Champions, you would actually have to go through a tournament. If you were able to win 4 games in a row and actually complete that tournament, you would be able to enter into FUT Champions. And this was a much better system within FIFA 19, where they did connect it into division rivals and have a complete overhaul. FIFA 20. FIFA 20 was the year of customization. They didn't make any crazy changes and they didn't do anything new with the game modes. But what they did allow you to do is have more customization options. Before this, you was already able to select your kit, select your badge, select your stadium, but now within FIFA 20, you was able to somewhat customize your stadium, bringing in new types of elements which you can either buy or you can unlock through different objectives, which would then be applied to your stadium if you wish to do so. Now, when the opening cinematics start, the camera angles, the quick cutscenes, you would now be able to see the stadium in which you customized rather than something which was just bland and default. FIFA 21. This was also another year in which EA didn't add too much. They mainly expanded on already existing features, but one thing that did stand out this year was that it was less competitive. People were getting sick of FUT Champions, with it being the amount of games required and it being a complete sweatfest. It was fun at the beginning in FIFA 17 when it was first added, but after a couple years, it really started to take a drain on players and even affected some people mentally. That's why a lot of people ended up going to the new game mode of co-op. They would much rather play with their friends online, but rather than going against them, they would play co-op and go into different types of friendlies. It wasn't rewarding, you didn't really get too much out of it, the coins were next to nothing, but it was fun. With EA noticing that people were taking less of a competitive approach to FIFA, they did just want to play and have fun. It led to some changes within FUT 22. With FIFA 22, it was less competitive. FUT Champions and Division Rivals was improved again. It had a complete overhaul. The concept remained the same, you were still able to get a lot of rewards from it, but it was no longer as serious. If you won games within Division Rivals, you'll get qualification points. But once you enter into FUT Champions, it's no longer as harsh. You were rewarded for losing. You were still gifted points if you lost a game. So even if you weren't the most competitive player ever, you were still able to get some pretty decent rewards. And if you did want to play competitive, you would just carry on going through division rivals and build to the highest possible divisions. And finally, FIFA 23. At the time of recording this video, we are still going on. So who knows, maybe there is going to be something different. But right now, the best part had to be the World Cup promo. It was fun going through the different types of content. It was fun grinding out the FUT swaps. And it was fun even though it was right at the beginning of FIFA. It may have hurt the rest of Ultimate Team throughout the rest of the year, but at the time, I enjoyed going through the World Cup mode. But who knows, this year is still going on, so maybe this will be something that will change by the time we get to EA Sports FC. But as for now, these are the best things from every single Ultimate Team. If you agree or disagree, let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. But anyway guys, I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did enjoy, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. But for now, I'm going. So see ya.